Those of you who haven't watched the previous 2 parts yet, I've added the links in the description box. Make sure to watch them first, because today's part is going to be even more emotional and exciting. I came to England, Europe, to study at the University of Oxford. My name's Juli. A new country, a new city, new people. Everything felt like a dream to me. After getting admitted to the university, the first friend I made was Lisa. She was a very friendly girl. That day, after class, we walked out of the campus together. As I walked through the beautiful streets of Oxford, I kept looking around in amazement. The old buildings, the peaceful roads, the calm environment. It felt like I was walking inside a movie scene. But behind all that beauty, one thought kept bothering me. Would I even find a place to stay? Because Oxford has thousands and thousands of students. And when there are so many students, finding accommodation becomes very difficult. Lisa told me, there are many houses near the university, but the rent is very expensive. Hearing that made me nervous, because I had come from Bangladesh with limited money, and after arriving in Europe, I realized that money disappears here much faster than I imagined. Still, I gathered my courage and started searching for a place to live. After walking for a while, I arrived in an area called Jericho. The place was beautiful and peaceful. Small roads, cafes everywhere, students walking around. Many houses had room, available signs hanging outside. I stopped in front of one house and rang the bell. An elderly man opened the door. I politely asked, "Excuse me, is there any room available?" He replied, "Yes, there is." I smiled and asked, "How much is the rent?" The man calmly answered, 700 to 1,000 pounds per month. For a few seconds, I couldn't even speak. When I converted the amount into Bangladeshi currency in my mind, I almost lost my balance. It was close to 1 lakh taka. I forced a small smile and said, "Okay, I'll think about it." Then I continued walking again. After some time, I reached another area called Summertown. The place looked even more luxurious. Big houses, quiet streets, beautiful trees. It felt like a city where only rich people lived. I stood in front of a large house and called the security guard. The guard went inside and informed the owner. A few moments later, a woman came outside. She looked very elegant and calm. She smiled and said, "Yes, dear?" I nervously replied, "I'm looking for a flat." She invited me inside. The moment I entered, I was shocked by the interior decoration. I had never seen such a beautiful house in my life. She asked me to sit down. Then she said, "The rent for a 1-bedroom flat is around 2,000 pounds. The moment I heard that, my mind went blank. I started calculating the amount in Bangladeshi currency. It was more than 250,000 taka. My head started spinning. Everything around me became blurry. And then I fainted right there. About 2 hours later, I slowly opened my eyes. I found myself lying on a soft bed. A warm blanket covered me, and a lamp beside me was glowing softly. For a moment, I thought I was dreaming. Then I saw the same woman sitting on the sofa nearby. She smiled gently and said, "Finally, you're awake." Embarrassed, I quietly said, "I'm sorry." She replied, "Don't worry. You were probably stressed." Then she asked me, "Which country are you from?" I answered, "Bangladesh." She looked surprised. "You came all the way here alone to study?" I nodded my head. After that, I started talking about my family and my dreams. I told her, my parents worked very hard to send me here. I didn't want to become a burden on them. She listened quietly. Then she smiled softly and said, "You speak so sweetly. Girls as humble as you are very rare these days." Hearing that made me blush immediately. My cheeks turned red with embarrassment. For the first time in a foreign country, someone treated me like family. Her name was Lanny. Lanny said, "You can't stay here tonight for free. It's already late outside." I kept refusing because staying in such an expensive house for free made me uncomfortable. But she insisted warmly. That night, I lay in bed thinking deeply. Life abroad was not as easy and glamorous as movies show. Surviving here was a challenge on its own. The next morning, Lanny served me tea and biscuits. We talked for a long time. Then she told me, in Headington, students can find rooms for comparatively lower rent. She wrote down the address for me. I thanked her sincerely and left. After taking a bus, I reached Headington. The area felt lively and comfortable. Students everywhere, shops, bus stops. I finally felt like I could belong there. After searching for hours, I finally found a small room. The room was tiny, but beautiful enough for me. Having my own place in a foreign country felt special. I was extremely tired. The moment I entered the room, I fell asleep. The next morning, I took a bus to the university. It only took around 10 to 15 minutes to arrive. As I entered the classroom, I saw many students already sitting there. Suddenly, someone shouted from behind, "Juli!" I turned around and saw Lisa. She quickly came and sat beside me. Slowly, my life at Oxford started becoming normal. Classes, assignments, libraries. Days were passing very quickly. Lisa and I became very close friends. But after 2 months, I realized something terrifying. My savings were running out very fast. Rent, food, transport, university fees. Everything was incredibly expensive. I tried to spend money very carefully. Sometimes I even avoided buying my favorite food just to save money. My parents often called and said, "If you need money, tell us. We'll send it." But I already knew how much they had sacrificed for me. I didn't want to give them more pressure, so I decided to find a part-time job. One day after class, I went out alone searching for work. I submitted my CV to many shops. Some said they had no vacancies. Others said they needed experienced workers. I slowly started losing hope. Then suddenly I noticed a large supermarket beside the road. I entered and spoke to the manager. The manager told me, in England, shop workers usually earn around 11 to 13 pounds per hour. Students doing part-time jobs can still earn decent money. The moment I heard that, I agreed immediately. The manager smiled and asked, "Can you start tomorrow?" Excitedly, I answered, "Yes." That day, I felt so happy. It finally seemed like my life was getting back on track. I walked out of the shop and started heading home. But suddenly, my heart dropped because I realized my handbag was missing. I immediately looked around in panic. Then I started running everywhere like a mad person searching for it, because inside that bag were my passport, my bank cards, all my money, and my important documents. And if the bag was truly gone, then in this foreign country, I would become completely helpless and alone. But what happened after that changed my life forever.